could make. This isn't the work of a professional. This isn't even the work of an amateur. It's pathetic.
Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we're revisiting the man who's currently going through one of the most spectacular downfalls in YouTube history, pirate software. How everything is built over the years is unraveling right in front of his eyes, and it's only getting worse with each passing day. Since, while being supremely arrogant is bad enough,
My dude, what's up, Squirt?
might even get in legal trouble for defrauding his audience. Now, I've already made a video going over the major controversy that initiated his downfall, but if you haven't watched
Yeah,
that
Netflix,
video
suck
yet,
my
I
cock,
made a
buddy. I
fresh
don't
up
want to
and
buy
a recap to
Netflix.
get you
Thanks
up to
though. I
speed.
got that shit for
Pirate
free.
Software, aka Jason
Suck my
Thor,
dick.
is an ex-Blizzard employee who, after allegedly
Cheers.
working for the US government as a hacker for a bit, decided to develop his own video game in 2017 called Heartbound. He also started streaming his game progress on Twitch and uploading clips from those streams on YouTube Shorts. These shorts blew up big time, allowing him to gain millions of new subscribers on YouTube, over 80,000 paid subs on Twitch, and even break the Twitch hype train record 4 different times. But then 2025 rolled around, and Thor managed to destroy the goodwill the internet once had for him. First, by causing his friends to lose months of progress in a hardcore World of Warcraft game and refusing to take accountability.
Wants me to sit down, grovel on my knees, and be like, "I'm
Cheers,
so sorry,
thug.
Mr. Yamato. It was all my fault, the mage."
And then by taking a stance against the Stop Killing Games initiative, which would stop game publishers from killing games people had already paid for.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit.
You guys saying?
Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to.
He misunderstood the whole movement on a fundamental level, and then used some of the harshest language he's ever used to speak up against it.
That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. Now, eat my
Not doing shit. You and me
level of
both, bro.
stupid that I just had to receive.
A little nuts last night.
Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I dropped the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing.
His viewers were shocked at him blatantly rejecting something they thought was good. Thor, on the other hand, continued posting more videos doubling down on his take. But then, some of the biggest creators on the platform, like Charlie, Jacksepticeye, and PewDiePie, voiced their support for the initiative. This only made Thor look worse by comparison, making the whole internet, including his audience, turn against him. Now, Thor had a chance to retain some of the trust his viewers had in him, despite the overwhelming amount of backlash he was receiving. All he had to do was admit that he was wrong, but not only did he not do that, he stuck to his guns, regardless of how wrong he was. He was caught lying about his games getting review bombed because of the controversy, making him look even more pathetic than he already did. Now, at the end of my last video, I posed 2 possible futures for Thor. He could either admit that he was wrong and turn things around, or stay stubborn and turn into the
Software is an album? Yeah. I agree. They changed the layout of the map. I just realized. I can't believe that. Ash Penguin is a fire name? Yeah.
Of the internet, and from the looks of it, he's chosen the second option, which has not only earned him more hate, but has prompted people to take a deeper look into his life, starting with his reputation as a master coder, and what they found was shocking to say the least. It started when a YouTuber named Coding Jesus, whose main content is him dissecting people's code and pointing out issues, decided to review the code for Heartbound in a video titled, "I reviewed Pirate Software's code, oh boy." And as you might be able to judge from the title, he didn't really have any good things to say about it, with him even going as far as to declare Thor's code to be worse than most entry-level interns.
Imagine removing all these comments. Would you, as a newly added game developer to his game project, have any idea that one is Shelly? You would have no idea. This would never ever be allowed in a production repository, and I've been hinting, it's below what you'd expect of a bottom tier intern.
Thor, however, didn't appreciate the constructive criticism and handled this review in the only way he knows how to.
It's just another, like, YouTube grifter trying to fight for relevance, dude. That's all that shit is. All too common these days.
However, there was something Thor said that was uncharacteristically reasonable for him, and actually made some sense.
It's just a bunch of disingenuous arguments put up in bad faith trying to make me look like a bad programmer. And in reality, this guy has never used the engine that I'm working in, never used the language that I'm working with, and all of his points are moot as a result.
From an objective point of view, his reasoning here for why Coding Jesus wasn't able to understand his coding style, because he's not a game developer, seemed sound. That was until another YouTuber, Quinn Theo, decided to get Coding Jesus on a call and dissect Thor's arguments together. They began by analyzing Thor's comments about Coding Jesus' very first critique, with Coding Jesus explaining how Thor doesn't use a very basic practice in his code that even school-level coders know how to use.
Manually setting all to 0 with 8 lines, those were set to 0 because it was ending the alarms. By setting them to 0, you're actually setting the alarm to off.
So what he's doing here is a classic example of deflection. He pretends the chatter asked, "Why do you set the alarms to 0?" instead of the question, which was, "Why don't you iterate over them in a for loop?" A for loop is a very basic coding construct. If you're iterating through a consecutive set of numbers, you definitely want to use that. It's the perfect scenario for a for loop.
While also pointing out how he
Was this
deflects
place
from
called
another
Miscellanea,
question
right?
whenever he doesn't know the answer.
But he pretends that he didn't understand the question, and then tries to answer something else.
And in case you're not familiar with programming, a commenter summed up Thor's flawed approach perfectly, stating, "He is literally doing the equivalent of writing 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 instead of writing 2 times 25. But that was just the tip of the iceberg, because while someone might argue that he simply misunderstood the criticism instead of purposefully deflecting it, that doesn't explain why he kept doing the same thing over and over again.
Sprite Spark is not a magic number. It's a direct reference to an asset file called Sprite Spark. This is how GameMaker allows you to link sprites and other assets. When you want to use a sprite, sound, or other object, you call it by name.
This is disingenuous at best and an obfuscation tactic at worst, because as you can see here, there's a lot of numbers here. It's very obvious when I'm talking about a magic number, I'm talking about things like 1, 0, 15, 270, 360. I'm not talking about what my mouse just happens to be highlighting, which is SPR Spark.
Almost as if it's a core part of the tactic he uses to sound more
Okay.
knowledgeable than he actually is.
Click
He
here.
has this repeating theme where somebody gives him a question, and then he pivots to something that somebody didn't even ask or address to try to get out of that question.
Something that becomes abruptly clear when he does address criticism directly and ends up being objectively wrong about everything he's saying.
Data types are not defined in GameMaker. You cannot define a Boolean. You can use 0, 1, or true, false at will. It doesn't do anything. None of this matters in this language.
The Boolean and the data types.
Okay.
So I'd like to interpret this in two ways, because what he could have been saying here when he says data types are not defined is that you can't create your own custom data types, which is indeed wrong. You can create structures in GameMaker. It's in the documentation, search up structs and constructors. But maybe he wasn't referring to structs, maybe he was referring to booleans, which also just isn't true.
What's worse is that he could have easily avoided looking like a fool. All he had to do was actually read about the programming language he claims to be an expert at.
He makes the claim that you can't define a boolean in GameMaker because GameMaker itself doesn't have a native boolean type in its scripting language. In other words, it interprets reals as booleans. Now, to reconcile the fact that he used a boolean in his code with what he said, I decided to do what any developer would do, and that is I consulted the documentation. So if you go to data types in GameMaker, oh, look at that. You are also provided with constants, true and false, which can always be used in your code to prevent any issues, should the native boolean type be defined later.
This can either be interpreted as Thor being incredibly lazy or just simply not knowing booleans exist in the language he's using. Either way, it calls into question every claim Thor has ever made about his coding skills to this point. As a comment on YouTube eloquently puts it, "Someone please take the shovel away from Pirate Software. This man won't stop digging a hole for himself." But what's most concerning is Thor's inability to take any kind of criticism, even when it's valid. He's set up a wall of denial in front of him and just disregards anyone that doesn't agree with him. That said, this next issue isn't something he can simply ignore, since he might even end up in court because of it. The bombshell dropped on July 5th, 2025, when a Twitter user by the name of Guy made a wild accusation against Thor, stating, "Pirate Software accidentally revealed his DMs with Kronos during the April 1st Twitch Giga Train, showing that they were boosting it themselves. This is why the stream is unavailable to watch." The Giga Train he's talking about here is actually the record-breaking Twitch hype train Thor was able to reach on April 1st, 2024. A hype train, for those who don't know, is a Twitch feature that gets activated when a streamer starts receiving a lot of donations or gifted subs in a very short span of time. It then continues leveling up if the donations keep coming in, and the more a hype train progresses, the more rewards the donors unlock, including special emojis and gifts that they can use, incentivizing them to keep spending their money. As we mentioned earlier, Thor had already broken multiple hype train records before. However, all of them paled in comparison to the hype train on April 1st, 2024, as it managed to reach past level 105. This was a big milestone in Thor's career. It made headlines, and turned Thor into an even bigger name in the online gaming community. However, if what Guy was alleging on Twitter was true, it meant that this record wasn't as legitimate as it seemed, and the proof he presented was in the screenshot of the conversation Thor had with his head mod Kronos while his hype train was active. Let me know if you do. Bits is going to be the best way to do it due to the return if you need to save it. Bits rather than T3 subs. Tier 3 subs might be better, don't know. Bits is 82% return when you buy them in bulk. Have you bought any yet? I've done 100 tier 1 subs on my personal, ready to do 40 tier 3 subs on an alt. Can do bits instead or both. Did 50,000 bits at 20 seconds left. Okay, what is the alt account? Serendipitous Bean. Put simply, this seemed like Thor telling his own mod to donate from an alt account to artificially keep the hype train going, and even telling him to use bits since Twitch would only take an 18% cut from them. Now, it was still possible that some important missing context could give this conversation a completely different meaning. Unfortunately for Thor, someone uncovered the deleted Twitch VOD this screenshot was taken from, and Thor's reaction to it told his viewers everything they needed to know.
I wished I could place my head between them and go full burr mode and make...
What? What? What is this? Where is it? I'm gonna find this. I need to find your message. God damn it, click. Click, you garbage machine. What? Who are you? Why are you like this? Number 420. Deleted.
Not only does it prove that the screenshot is real, viewers could also see how panicked Thor became when he saw it, and how he immediately switched to a different chat before actually finding and deleting the text-to-speech donation that came in. Thor tried to deny any wrongdoing on Twitter, stating, "Kronos used his own money to do this and asked if it was okay to do so. He wasn't paid for this or told to do it either. He's a grown man and can spend his money in whatever way he chooses. You can hate me all you like. but going after my staff is shit tier behavior. Even Kronos, his head moderator, came out with statements of his own denying
What the hell?
allegations. Reading, said this before in January during the World of Warcraft drama. People contacted me and others about donating during the hype train record in 2024. This year, I did less from the main and I did some from an alt. Removal of the VOD was, if I recall correctly, to prevent people
74.
from harassing donators as before. And while these explanations from both Thor and Kronos were still a bit suspicious, they were enough to end the controversy before it got any worse. Or at least, that's likely what they thought would happen. But on July 20th, 2025, someone replied to Guy's original Twitter post with yet another screenshot. This one showing the exact messages attached to the donation Kronos made with his alt account, Serendipitous Bean. It reads, "In real life friend of Kronos and excited that they are now free from corporate. Love your stream and what you do for people here. There aren't many cool or supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards." In other words, Kronos pretended to be his own friends, likely to avoid any suspicions from chat. However, what made this
Not the
truly
dead
weird was the
mahogany.
fake reaction Thor had when this donation came in.
Serendipitous Bean with 50,000 bits said IRL friend of Kronos and excited that they are now free from corporate.
I know.
Love your stream and what you do for people here. There aren't many cool or supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards.
I'm sorry you had to know Kronos in real life, just like me.
Now, it's possible Kronos just wanted to hide his own identity to not receive hate for donating so much. However, that just explains the pretending to be his own friend part. It does not explain the shameless glazing that followed. Even if we ignore the actual message and just focus on the donation, it's still highly problematic. Not only did it manipulate the viewers into donating more by keeping the hype train alive, as Legal Mindset put it in his video, it could even bring some serious consequences for Thor, starting from Twitch itself.
So Kronos is the main moderator, and excited that they are free from corporate. Love your stream and what you do for the people here. There aren't many cool or supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards. So this person is clearly painting themselves as not Kronos, not the moderator, but a separate IRL friend of this moderator, which is extremely deceptive if you ask me.
Serendipitous Bean with 50,000 bits said IRL friend of Kronos and excited that they are now free from corporate. Love your stream and what you do for people here. There aren't many cool or supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards.
I'm sorry you had to know Kronos in real life, just like me.
500 bits said when his yarn pregnant and going to be real.
Dude, this guy can't be real. This guy actually can't be real.
Thor has openly claimed plenty of times that he hires and actually pays all his mods.
I pay our moderators full time. Not only do they have full-time pay, they're on salary, they also get full-time benefits too. Medical, dental, vision, everything. Like, that's
Alright, boys.
how this place stays cool.
So it wouldn't be difficult for Thor to reimburse Kronos as part of his monthly paycheck. Only now, it could get him suspended or even kicked off Twitch entirely. But that isn't even the worst of it. According to Legal Mindset, this has also opened Thor and his mod up to facing legal repercussions from the federal government as well.
So you need representation, omission, or practice that is likely to mislead a customer. So the practice would be, hey, donating bits from the sock puppet account. The consumer's interpretation is reasonable under the circumstances. So the consumer is thinking this is a private party. This is somebody else. This is not the mod. This is not pirate software. They're thinking, oh, look, this person is extending the hype train. And so because of that misleading representation, that materially led others to donate more to keep it going. It's a very well-known thing in scams and cons. This is something that confidence men do. They get fake buyers to go out there and gin up interest so that people will buy stuff even though it's overpriced.
And if that wasn't enough, Thor and Twitch could also get trouble on a state level as well, based on Thor falsely
One at a
advertising the
time.
success of his hype train.
So, Consumer Legal Remedies Act. California has that. And I mentioned California, by the way, because that's where Twitch is. So it would be very reasonable if a California donor, if a California whale brought a claim against a California corporation in a California court against, Twitch and against, Mr. Pirate Software. But beyond that, there's California Business Code 17500, which leads to false or misleading statements or false or misleading advertisement. And this could be perceived as, hey, falsely advertising that you're number one on the hype train, that you're this hype train leader, that you're this person that needs to be donated to keep this thing going to breach all these levels, when really most of those levels, or maybe a lot of those levels, some of those levels, were just artificially inflated by either Pirate Software's mod or the sock puppet accounts. I mean, who knows? We don't really have a full track on that yet.
But even if he manages to escape any direct repercussions, these controversies have only accelerated his downfall, with the number of people unsubscribing from his YouTube channel each month jumping from 100,000 plus when the Stop Killing Games controversy happened to over 200,000 after these new
crazy.
controversies came to light. It truly seems like Thor's reputation has reached a point where even if he apologizes now or tries to take take accountability, it's pretty unlikely that he'll ever regain the audience he once had. But just when we thought he couldn't sink further, he somehow found a way. As I was making this video, Quintheo dropped another bombshell by interviewing Mr. Jason Thorhall's ex-roommate, as well as the person who was in charge of his quality assurance work at Blizzard.
Hi, my name's Cynthia Hall. I go by Ludiana online. I am a lifelong artisan cosplayer. I worked for 5 years at Blizzard and then 8 years at Twitch. And I happen to work with Pirate Software at Blizzard as his wrangler on Diablo 3.
And what she had to say about Thor was shocking, but not all surprising at this point. According to Cynthia, Jason was straight up bad at his job. He would constantly slack off and browse Reddit all day, and even when he did work, Cynthia often had to come in and correct his mistakes.
So we're talking dealing with all the spawns in the game, all the boss testing, having to do all the smoke tests whenever there were new builds. That's end to end, make a character run through to skeleton king kill. Like that's just testing the builds. Whatever the task was for the day, it could just be spawning different monsters and testing their apexes to see how they perform. That easy. But he would just kind of create a character and idle in the client and reread it. That's literally what he did. He sat in front of me and I was assigning the tasks. So not only did I see the work he was not doing, I saw what he was doing instead.
Worst of all, when Cynthia complained about his behavior to the higher-ups, nothing happened, simply because Thor's father was also quite high up in the company. The same father, mind you, whose birthday is not even an afterthought for Thor these days.
Birthday and you missed it? You didn't call
You
me?
seen this? Yeah.
Ignored me for my birthday?
That isn't
So,
true. I sent
that
you a
is true.
text.
No, you did not.
This is a very classic narcissist.
Last year.
Bullshit.
I got nothing. You sent me one last year.
Did I send you one last year? Am I a shitty son? Oh man. It was last. Wow.
But that's only the tip of the iceberg. His memorable moments at the company also included him yelling at his co-workers for not playing like elite gamers for a charity event.
I was on his team for a league tournament and he screamed at our team for apparently not gearing correctly to counter the other team because we were just that bad. And it's not like we were losing so severely because we all played league regularly. It was not that big of a deal and we were all sleep deprived. It was very early in the morning after an overnight of playing games and we're like, seriously dude, you are raging at everybody. Like our entire team. He was just yelling across the floor at everybody.
It's a charity event, correct?
It was a children's charity event.
But all of that pales in comparison to what he was like as a roommate.
That I came home and went into the kitchen. All the dishes everywhere. Like, pans, still food in them on the stove, shit everywhere, food, countertops, everything everywhere. Like, it was not disgusting, Sty, but it was very just a fucking mess.
Worst of all, when he eventually did leave Cynthia's apartment, what she found in his room was nothing short of disgusting.
Lolcow, yeah. Like Wings of Redemption, bro. Like my boy Wingo.
I had to clean everything by hand. There was, like, I don't know what on the walls in his bedroom, and you're just gonna have to, like, take my word for this. I don't know if it was snot or something else just, like, wiped here and there on the walls, and more of the, like, random gray stuff, just spots and things.
Now, these stories are from years ago. Unfortunately, from what we've seen of his game's progress, he still hasn't outgrown his slacking habits. It just makes you wonder how much more negative stuff about Thor will come out before the internet just moves on. Just like Only Jayus, who's also continuing to
Yeah, watch my
forge a
next
form of
video.
internet obscurity. Click the video on screen to find out why.
Peace, bitch. It's funny because I remember when he was sitting there talking about how he would go and do like government hacking and shit like that. I remember saying in one of my streams, like, if he was actually doing that, he wouldn't be on the internet talking and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, the government wouldn't even allow that. Man, we'd be signing so many NDAs and shit. He would have been, yeah, he would have been in, yeah, exactly. I get like at least like 1 seed or something over here. Like, fuck, dude. I'm getting raped right now. Not a single seed so far. Bro, I tried to cheat the system, man. I made like 3 fucking meat sacks. But if you take the meat sack with you, all 3 of them with you, it fills it up as 1. I was gonna try and just like have a full inventory of meat sacks and just get like 1 meat and start stashing it in the fucking like hundreds of meat sacks. When I was just driving home, well, like my dad was driving up north and we were driving home, I was just sitting there just killing pirate foxes. I have like 400. Get out of here, Charles. This guy. I got like 400. I'm gonna go do some. I can't remember what I was reading, but there's something that's like pretty quick getting hunter meat. Actually, I'll just do hunter rumors. What am I saying? I forgot about the hunter rumors. I just got my kingdom up and running. I should be putting all my stuff into herbs, right? That's what I did. I put all my stuff into herbs.
Most Googled person in the world continues to promote red pill content even after facing serious criminal charges.
Andrew Tate's have millions of followers online, and to give you some more background, officials say he was in charge of a criminal ring that lured women to Romania where they were sexually exploited.
Tonight, disturbing allegations.
Yeah, and logs for planks.
Most controversial figures on social media.
I was with Andrew and he said, I'm just debating whether I should rape you or not. Out of the blue, he just got up, smashed me to the back of the bed, strangling me extremely hard. And I'm like, no, Andrew, you said you wouldn't.
He describes a sexual encounter and says that's how it goes. Slap, slap, grab, choke, shut up, sex. That's how it should be.
But even something as disturbing as the red pill, further, a far bleaker worldview was quietly evolving. According to it, society
fucking snake, I see you there, Silver One.
Men are doomed to loneliness. Women are nothing but cruel gatekeepers. Power trumps morality, and violence is the only form of expression men have left. These are all ideas promoted by the fatalistic and radically misogynistic philosophy known as the black pill.
I'm 22 years old, and I'm still a virgin. I don't know why you girls aren't attracted to me, but I will.
Because you look like a fucking homo, bro. That's probably why. You literally look gay. Like, when I think of a gay person, that's what I think of right there.
Punish you all for it.
This weekend, a lot of us learned for the first time about a kind of subculture, a hidden world of resentment, cynicism, anger against women, where one disturbed young man took refuge.
22-year-old Elliot Roger, a virgin vowing revenge in a twisted video he posted Friday, addressed at his perceived enemies, young women he says rejected him.
You will finally see that I am, in truth, the superior one. The true alpha male.
For the black-pilled, hope is an illusion. You, just like the world around you, are broken, and that resentment can only lead to one thing.
Police didn't have to search long to learn what motivated a 22-year-old gunman to kill 6 people and injure 7 others.
The University of California Santa Barbara community is
always California, dude.
With 2 of her friends. Yeah,
it's always fucking California, bro. I swear to God.
She had so much to give for this life.
It's just awful. And no parent should have to go through this.
But something happened in 2021.
It did kind of look like
the
my
black
dad.
pill community emerged from the shadows, taking its message to the masses in an attempt to replicate the Andrew Tate phenomenon. Enter self-proclaimed Sigma male and self-published novelist.
It's the man who calls himself Roman McClay.
Amir Roman
McClay.
The Unabomber of the 2010s, the recluse who may or may not be plotting your demise.
Currently blowing up Twitter, making a whole lot of noise online.
We have the man, a literal myth,
living out in the forest somewhere. Nobody knows where he's at. Thank you for joining us. For those that don't know Roman,
Nobody
he's the
knows where
author of
he's at
Sanction,
except
which is
like,
got
you
all
know,
the
the
momentum in
government.
the world behind it right now. People are
They got
really
fucking
into it.
satellites
There's
that can zoom
movement
into the
behind
like
it.
blades
People
of
are trying
grass.
to get movies made, get you on Joe Rogan.
Roman quickly became famous before anyone could realize what he truly stood for. Podcast hosts treated him like a modern philosopher, but few noticed the violent undertone behind his words.
This is the thing that 99% of people miss. They put people into two categories: decent, civilized motherfuckers and violent people. And I'm offended by the fact that someone who's violent is just shuttled off into this category of psychopath.
Because one thing modern society does is it tells men like myself to not be so macho, right? It's called toxic masculinity. And we're told constantly that we're the problem. I thought if I wrote a book like this, it would find those kinds of people and they would for once feel almost redeemed by it.
The book Roman is referring to is called Sanction, an over 1.2 million word supposed science fiction novel, nearly twice as long as the Bible. He writes himself in as the macho, self-insert protagonist named Lyndon McLeod, which is Roman's real name from before his influencer rebrand. He describes his protagonist, Lyndon, killing people he knew in and around Denver, using the real names of people from his own past. When Sanction was released, it received praise from the manosphere community, but disturbed almost everyone else. One Amazon review reads, "This book is packed full of rants on diversity, women, and globalization. There are fantasies of killing people. This book fetishizes violence." Support and condemnation of the book created an online
I was gonna
debate
read what
where
that said
Lyndon
about
himself
BLM.
threatened to kill his detractors and their family.
Bro, I was up north and I seen this guy wearing a shirt that said Black Flies Matter. And it was like the Black Lives Matter logo, but Black Flies Matter. Dude, I was fucking howling. I wanted to get a picture with him, but he wouldn't take a picture with me.
For those who agreed with Lyndon and his disturbing outlook on the world, this was gospel. His book was the longest right-wing manifesto ever written, a rallying cry for the disheartened incels, the Black Pill Bible.
This guy, fuck this book. This is a dark piece of whatever. I'm gonna go write an angry blog article about it, and then I'm gonna forget about it in 2 weeks because there's no way this thing is making it into prime time. But then the other people, it's like, man, this is what I've been waiting for.
For years, I was abandoned by my tribe, usurped, betrayed, overthrown, and now I have a new tribe, loyal to me. And I haven't tested
Flies
them
Matter.
loyalty, but where we're at now, they've shown supreme loyalty to me.
Members of Lyndon's new black-pilled tribe knew that his so-called...
It's pretty sad though, because like people that are just like super lonely and shit. Black Fly? Oh, true. Black Fly booze. I didn't know that, man. That's crazy. Is it beer or something? But like it's sad because people that have like super lonely and shit just like get sucked into these cults so
first
easily.
tribe were people from his
It's
past
fucked.
life he hated, and that they were all on the hit list hidden in the pages of Sanction. But
Like
one
Twisted
woman seemingly
Teas?
held more
Ah, okay.
importance to him than the others. The indigenous Mexican-American painter, muralist, educator, activist, body piercer, tattoo artist, and Lyndon's ex-girlfriend, Alicia Cardenas.
Alicia was really about bringing people together and just showing us that we are all one.
She was a progressive artist in person.
Oh, she's dead
Very
now,
strong
isn't
woman.
She
She
was a
was.
warrior. She wanted to make a difference in this world, and you damn well bet she did.
I hope you all are taking good care of each other today. I'm gonna be doing some tattoos. I'm gonna be
My guy fell in love with like the craziest bitch out there. No wonder he's fucked up.
hugging my people extra long. I'm gonna be trying to remind everybody who the fuck they are, what they bring to the universe. I hope it's going to help you and
God,
ignite
I don't
you
know.
to do more work.
I
and
can't.
change
I could
throughout
never
our
date a
community.
chick with all these
So,
piercings and shit, dude. Like this shit looks fucking
and,
hideous.
I hope you have a good day.
The bullring, yeah. Like I could never date a chick with any of that shit. Looks fucking disgusting.
Alicia's motto, a Lakota Nahuatl mantra, meaning we're all connected as one through the universe. and the 44-year-old lived by it, even though connection wasn't what she found when she first
It's
entered
terrible.
the tattoo world in the
My
early
daughter
90s.
once, when I
Back
said, "You're
then,
not
the
getting
industry
one.
was
I
still
don't care.
ruled by
You can be
biker
20 years
gangs
old.
and
You are not
ex-convicts.
getting one of
For a young
those."
woman of color, it wasn't just hostile, it was truly dangerous.
It's just a phase. That's what I keep telling her. It's just a phase. If you want one when you're 30, get it.
Real bad experience is, you know, having somebody pull a gun on you and beat you up. Many women were sexually aggressive, sexually exploited, even in this tattoo industry, and that's not just Denver.
In the
that's entire
tattoo industry.
Alicia had no interest
The
in joining
fuck?
that scene, so she set out to build something of her own.
Is she fucking high or some shit? Getting raped in the tattoo scene, bro. What are you talking about? I'm
After
sure it's
delivering
happened,
pizza and
but
cleaning
she's making it
houses for
sound like
years,
it's a
she
fucking
opened
daily
Soul Tribe
occurrence.
on Broadway Street in
Like-
downtown Denver. Her shop
I
wasn't just about
guarantee you,
tattoos.
you could probably count
she
on your
wanted it
hand
to
how
become
many
a home
times it's
for
happened
people
in
like
that
her.
state.
She hired artists whom other shops had rejected. She mentored teenagers, ran food drives for people experiencing homelessness, and painted murals with messages about healing and tolerance. Her employee and best friend, Jimmy Maldonado, was by her side from the beginning. Together, they built a powerful community and made inclusion their mission, but their message didn't sit well with everyone.
At times, like, the odds were definitely against us. There's people who just didn't want to see us succeed. There was a lot of sexism and racist talk. Someone threw this rock through this big window of ours. It was a threat.
White Lily,
but
that's what I
none
have to
of that
grab.
was
I
going to
think I
stop
might have
us.
to get something easier.
Alicia just had a great vision. It can be something different and something better, and it doesn't have to be like this.
Jimmy and Alicia poured everything into Soul Tribe, building it into one of Colorado's
Beat
most
it, bro.
respected tattoo shops.
Nah,
Before
bro.
long, Broadway Street became a hub for the counterculture, with open-minded tattoo parlors
Nah,
popping up all
bro.
around. Along the way, Alicia became something of a matriarch to her people,
it.
a legend in downtown Denver.
Beat
She had
it.
truly changed the game and was finally living her dream. But in the shadows, someone from her past was watching, and they were waiting for the right moment to destroy it all. It's December 27th, 2021, just 3 days after Christmas. Jimmy's wife, Alyssa, not to be confused with Alicia, is helping close up Soul Tribe for the night with her husband and Alicia. The couple shares with their boss that they've been trying for a baby recently, heartwarming news to Alicia, who officiated their wedding 2 years prior. The three are cleaning up and chatting when someone none of them has seen in nearly 20 years walks through the door.
I was in the back in my room. Alyssa and Alicia were in the front. Someone came
Yo,
into the
Paul,
shop.
what's up, dude?
Once
How you been?
I realized who it was, I was shocked. Something was off with him.
Back in 1999, Lyndon found his way to Denver after fleeing a cult-like hippie commune known as Zen Dick Farm. There, he soon got
How you
acquainted
been? How you
with the
been?
city's up-and-coming tattoo industry and, eventually, walked into Soul Tribe.
One day, someone comes into the shop, and his name was Lyndon McLeod. He would talk to people, he would talk to Alicia. After a while, they became friends.
Alicia believed in second chances. When she met Lyndon, she saw someone spiritually broken, searching for meaning and belonging. They connected quickly, and
What's
before
new?
long,
How are
their
you? How are the
friendship
kids?
turned into something more. But it didn't take long for things to take a turn for the worse. Lyndon's charm gave way to cynicism. He started saying things that made her uneasy, offhand jokes that were almost insults, and opinions that felt more like warnings. Before things got out of hand, she broke up with him.
You
In
won
2018,
finally? Atta boy.
Alicia was interviewed by a fellow
Boy, that
feminist
took a long
influencer.
time, man.
She was asked
Holy
about a
shit,
time
man.
she felt unsafe in a relationship. She didn't mention anyone in particular, but the similarities to Lyndon were uncanny.
I hated his whole warrior mentality, his aggressiveness, and that he had been calling himself an alpha male for so long. And so I'm happy that he didn't kill me or punch me in the face, but I forgive him for being overly aggressive.
While Alicia was focused on building a safe space to bring people together, Lyndon vanished into the woods and built a container house in which he could live in complete isolation. There, he spiraled deeper into radicalization. In the echo chamber he created for himself online, he convinced himself that Alicia and everyone who offended him
fuck
were to
this
blame
Scoober.
for everything that had gone wrong in his life. During this time, he
Suck
wrote his
it.
revenge fantasy book, Sanction, in which he explicitly names Alicia
Suck
and has
it.
his self-insert protagonist murder her. However,
Um.
when Lyndon hinted online that his novel might not stay fictional for much longer, many of his followers backed away. A few even reported him to the FBI for terrorist intent, but no concrete action was taken.
5
So,
years
on
in
that cold
prison
December
they
night
had,
in
yeah.
2021, Lyndon walks into Soul Tribe dressed in black leather and body armor. He's bringing his twisted fantasy to life. He pulls an AR-15 from a bag and, without saying a word, fires on Alicia, Jimmy, and Alyssa. In the early morning of December 27th, police officer
Probably
Ashley
gonna get
Ferris
banned now.
arrives at her station in Lakewood, 7 miles from Denver. She's running on coffee and very little sleep. She's been struggling with an ongoing divorce, and the holidays hit hard.
I needed to be getting mental health help that I wasn't getting, and I wasn't telling people that I needed it.
It's the first Christmas she spent alone, and the silence at home has been brutal. Still, she shows up. With half the department out sick, she doesn't have much of a choice.
And then I had someone at work text me, and I don't want to make this part sound bad, but you know, he texted me and he was like, hey, you need to watch your reputation because like you're not the same version of yourself. You're not the same Agent Ferris that we all know, and I think your attitude has changed, and I think you need to like course correct, basically. And what that person didn't understand is that I was like at my breaking point.
Ashley used to crack jokes in the locker room, always in good spirits. She was the kind of cop who noticed when someone was having a bad day and honestly asked about it. But nowadays, the only thing that keeps her going seems to be her pets at home.
I had struggled with mental health and depression and anxiety and things before, and I had dabbled with
I mean,
it,
who hasn't?
but I didn't really want to open up to the problems. I didn't really want to address all the truth and all the issues that I was going through.
By lunchtime, Ashley is sitting alone in her cruiser in an empty parking lot, trying to keep it together.
Oh, shit.
Lakewood officers patrol alone, and the isolation doesn't help. Her thoughts quickly spiral out of control. She's been in a dark place for months, and today feels worse than usual. She starts crying, but is interrupted by her phone. It's a text from a friend on the force, asking if he should walk her dog during her shift. She knows this is her last chance to ask for help, but here, all alone and at the end of her rope, she just doesn't take it.
And quite frankly, I backed them into a corner.
What's up,
because
Jay?
I told them all the things that I knew I could say without them putting me on a mental health hold, because this was another officer. And I knew exactly what I could say and what I shouldn't say to toe that line. And that was the person that I would probably suspect would have taken care of my animals, which was my biggest concern. And I really didn't care about anything else. And I told that person, you know, like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And that person was like, are you planning on hurting yourself? Are you planning on killing yourself? All the questions that we ask as police officers. And I
Mr. Poop
respond
Monster.
and navigated around. And the truth was, I was gonna kill myself. I was gonna go home that night after work and take my own life. And I was fine with that.
The rest of the shift goes by. Routine calls, patrols, nothing out of the ordinary. Ashley goes through the motions and agrees to do a double for the sake of the team. It's her last day on Earth after all. She may as well make herself useful. Then, just after 5 p.m., her radio crackles.
To all agents, be advised, rifle casings and kippings at the homicide.
Suspect is last seen south.
832, I'm at a last man van.
Dispatch, we're hearing shots fired. We're hearing shots fired.
He's still shooting.
If you have your tac vests, put them on.
He was shooting at them with a rifle, and they're attempting to return fire. And at that point, it's pedal to the metal, trying to get there as fast as I can.
Ashley does what she can to piece together the events as they happen in real time on her radio. At 5:25, her Denver colleagues find the bodies of Alicia and Alyssa at Soul Tribe, but manage to rescue Jimmy before he bleeds out. But unfortunately, Lyndon is already long gone.
No,
At
'cause I made my card the other
5:31,
day.
he bursts into the apartment of his ex-business partner, tattoo artist Jeremy Costello.
So I broke that business off with him, and he hated that. I never would have thought it would come to something like this, but in the book, a character was going to, that was his own name, Lyndon McLeod, was going to kill me and then behead her.
Thankfully, Jeremy, his wife, and their 8-month-old daughter escape in time. But the other people listed throughout the pages of Sanction aren't as lucky. At 5:45, Lyndon kills a contractor he used to work with, named Michael Swinyard at his residence. At 5:49, police engage Lyndon's black van. They don't know that the attack has been planned. The pursuit ends in a shootout, and the suspect wrecks 2 police cruisers before fleeing towards Lakewood. Once there, Lyndon continues his vendetta by heading straight to the Lucky 13 tattoo parlor, and at 5:58, kills another of his past partners out of jealousy, tattoo artist Danny Schofield, right in front of his 2
You got some
clients.
rents, bro. I got a quarter pound for 96 bucks because I bought an ounce. I bought a half ounce, and the people that bought it off fucked up.
The guy came in, he said the guy by name, he said Danny, and then shot him like 3 times.
Lyndon then walks into a restaurant where he forces his way behind the counter and pours himself a drink.
And threw the glass at my feet, and it shattered, and then he pulled his gun on me.
Yeah? Well, I guess who's in charge? It ain't you, bitch. Fuck off. I just wanted to drink, you stupid cunt. What? Alright. I'm out of here.
At 6:04, another gunfight erupts between him and the police. He escapes into a Hyatt hotel and kills 28-year-old front desk worker Sarah Steck, who isn't listed in sanction. She simply happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
You know, the hotel clerk that had been less than a block away from me when she was murdered, she was the same age as me, and she was also on overtime.
It's now 6:10. Ashley finally reaches the area where the last attack happened. Nobody can guess exactly where Lyndon is headed next, but she has her own idea.
I knew that he was involved with some tattoo shops. I didn't know the details,
You
but
fucking
there was a tattoo
homo.
shop to the north of me that I thought maybe he could be headed towards. And sure enough, he walked up to me. When he approached me, I asked who he was. And then I don't remember what he said after that, because I knew, I mean, you have a gut feeling, and I knew that this was the guy. He made a quick movement with his right hand, and I tried to stop him, tried to stop his hand, and I told him, don't do this. And he said, I'll show you what I'll do.
Ashley knows that calling out to him is useless at this point. She can see it in his eyes. Instead, she steps back and pulls out her service weapon. Without taking her eyes off Lyndon, she notices a crowd moving in right behind him. She hesitates for a second,
fucking
not
shoot him.
wanting to hit innocent bystanders. But
So
Lyndon
fucking
doesn't
shoot
care
him.
and opens fire.
Yeah. This chick is retarded, bro. What the fuck? How dumb do you have to be? Is this chick actually that fucking stupid? What the fuck? Dude, what a dumb cunt. What a fucking retard. I need to watch that again to make sure. I had a late night last
He
night.
hesitates for a second, not wanting to hit innocent bystanders, but Lyndon doesn't care and opens fire.
Who was that? Who was that?
That was Agent Ferris.
I was going to take my own life, and he decided to shoot me instead of that. And when I was laying there on the ground...
It's funny how fast that changed up for her. I was gonna take my own life, but fuck, you know, I got shot, so I didn't want to die after all. Like, come on. Come on. Cry for attention, that's all I'm smelling, I'm not gonna lie.
And I'm bleeding out pretty heavily, and my head had hit the pavement, and my head's bleeding. I wasn't gonna let him win. It wasn't about me. He was gonna...
Something tells me this chick's a
killing people.
narcissist, yeah.
He was gonna kill my
I'm
friends
just
who were
saying.
responding to save me.
Severely concussed and bleeding profusely, Ashley knows her body is about to give out. She has only a few seconds to act. With ringing ears and blurry vision, she can barely make out Lyndon's shape in the distance, but notices the crowd has dispersed. She steadies herself as best she can and pulls the trigger with the last of her strength.
I've said it before to people. I remember the Christmas lights reflecting on the pavement, and I remember laying there, and I thought to myself, this is pretty peaceful. And I realized, I don't think he's shooting at me anymore. And I'm laying there, and I knew, I was like, I'm gonna die. But it's okay, because I did the best I could. And if I'm gonna die...
That's the best you can do, bitch. Low-key dope, she got him while he was
This
down.
is
Yeah,
an
I
honorable
mean,
way to go.
she shouldn't have even been fucking down, brother, to begin with. She should have fucking killed him instantly as soon as he went and pulled for his weapon. Bang, dead. That's how it works. You know? Like, yeah.
And
She didn't do
I did
her
what I could
job
to save
properly.
other people, and I did what I could to stay in the fight.
She's saying there's a crowd behind him. She's saying there's a crowd behind him. Like, you're shooting him, motherfucker, not the people behind. Like, what are you talking about? Like, doesn't make sense. That bitch fucked up. She's dumber than shit.
But then to see my peers, my coworkers, my friends run into that situation to save me, sure, it's our job. Absolutely, it's our job. But you don't know how you're going to react until you're there. And to see them run in to a scene with an active gunman, they run in and they grab me and they save me, I wasn't going to give up.
He had to blur out the blood. That's hilarious.
No way.
I gotta finish. I'm doing Satan's. Let them know to be ready for.
Meanwhile, Lyndon McLeod is declared dead at the scene. Unbelievably, Ashley managed to shoot right through his heart.
Fuck, good shot. I'll give her that. That's a good fucking shot, but she should have just killed him instantly before, like, you know?
The bullet entered Lyndon's upper left side, the only area of his chest unprotected by his body armor.
With all of the video released today, the most compelling is about a minute long from a Halo camera when Agent Ashley Ferris, who's just been shot, is able to take out this shooter and end a murderous rampage.
In the following weeks, Ashley undergoes a series of surgeries as doctors fight to save her left leg. In another hospital, Jimmy is also recovering, slowly regaining his strength. It's not until he is finally released 1 week later that the reality of what has happened truly sinks in.
Tonight, Jimmy is now back home. He's recovering from his injuries.
His problem, that guy's problem was he underestimated her because she's a woman.
For Jimmy Maldonado,
Yeah, that's all.
no words can describe the pain of losing someone you love.
Sorry, it comes in waves, man.
For him, that person is his wife, Alyssa Gunn Maldonado.
She wrote to me, I love you so much. You bring my heart so much joy. I had the best time naming our babies and listening to music and loving you forever and ever.
489, it's almost 500.
You know, I know it's gonna take time, but there's no doubt in my mind that I'm gonna see this through in a good way.
Eventually, it's also time for Ashley to be discharged. She is immediately celebrated as a hero by her
Will
community.
those stack, I guess.
But the
Look,
title
all she
doesn't
wanted
sit
was a
easily
little
with her. She can't
validation,
just accept
a
the
little
praise without being
spotlight.
honest
She wasn't
about
even
what
really
happened
depressed.
that day. So she starts speaking up,
Come on
sharing
now.
her story openly with anyone who will listen. And for the first time, people begin to understand what she really went through to survive and stop Lyndon.
And so at that point, I decided
I don't know. I'm not buying
I
it.
have a responsibility. I can be vulnerable.
I'm not buying it. That chick's dumber than fuck, dude. Dumber than a sack of rocks. Let's listen to my boy Stavi. Should have been listening to him when Thug Duck was here earlier. There's been some good ones. This one here sounded so funny. This guy's voice.
So I have quite a disaster on my hands. So basically, I got married in 2023. No, 2022.
Okay.
And 6 months after that, my wife tells me that she's like to her core, an immutable part of her identity is that she's polyamorous.
Oh.
Um,
Oh my
and that,
God.
yeah.
What the
This is,
fuck?
isn't that fucking, and this is like after we had
That's
like made
insane.
fun of poly people for like years of being together. Um,
What?
yeah. So I was like
Yeah.
trying to be understanding at first and shit like that. And she had mentioned before we got married that like, oh, we can like fuck around with other people, have like threesomes and stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But she never actually like said she was polyamorous, which to me feels like a
It's a big
totally
difference.
different
Big difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I come from like, I mean, I said
The
this
fuck
in the
even is
text, you know this, but
polyamorous,
like I come
bro?
from like a first generation, like Italian New Jersey family.
Yeah, where you
I
just
am
cheat like a gentleman. Where you just, you're polyamorous, but secretly by fucking, you know, the hostess at your favorite pasta restaurant. But you have the decency to hide it from your wife.
Exactly. You gotta have the guma on the side.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's so you can't do it out in the open like
Of
this. So
course.
anyway, so she says that she wants to be polyamorous, blah blah blah. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. But the caveat is that like I tried to go along with it, I guess, for a
Royal
little bit
trouble.
because I
Five
am
cool
like
combat gear.
I'm trans.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was
I
like, oh,
knew there was something with this motherfucker, bro. I could just tell by the voice. I knew there was something though. Anyway.
okay, like I can't do any, you know, just like self-hatred,
Yeah,
internalized
totally.
transphobia type shit.
Yeah,
Like,
totally
oh, I can't do any
internalized.
better.
You're like, well, I'm
she's
a
hot.
fucked up person. She's a fucked up person. We deserve each other, even though it's like, no, you thought you were getting married in a monogamous relationship. But anyway, go ahead.
Exactly.
I get it
Yeah,
though. I
yeah.
understand the psychology. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so like basically I was like, oh, you know, she's hot. She's like, I'll never do any better. Like
Right.
I'm a good looking guy, but I'm fucking 5'3" trans guy, so it's not
Yeah.
it's not that easy for me.
Yeah, I gotta
So
say, you do just sound like a guy from trans guys. The voice is often a tough part. You could just sound like a little Italian guy. You
I thought I was a dude.
sound like a little pizza maker, dude. So there you go. That's a big plus. You got us there.
that's perfect. Thank you. That's all I want to be. So so yeah, basically like, you know, tried to go along with this shit for a while and unfortunately like I was trying, and then one day she fucking hits me with, "Oh, I think I'm the type of poly that like we live in separate homes,
my
but we're
God.
still like married."
Oh,
And I was
my
like,
God.
you gotta be fucking kidding me. I've been reading these fucking poly secure books.
Yeah.
I've been like
Trying
doing
to
all this
fucking
shit to try to
hypnotize
not be
yourself.
like an anxiously attached person. And then she finally hits me with this. So I basically was like, this is not going to work for me. Like, I can't make
Yeah.
this work. And she's like, okay, well, this is like very upsetting to me. I'm very surprised that like you feel this way.
What?
I'm gonna like go have coffee with my friends and like talk about this. And I'm like, okay. So she leaves the house. I've never done this before, but I just got this feeling that like something more was going on.
Mhm.
So I go look on her computer, like a little piece of shit, and I like go
Yeah.
on her iMessages, and I see that like based on the timestamp at the same time that like I was crying on the couch about the fact that she said that she's like this type of extreme poly.
Right.
She was in the bathroom sending nudes to a guy.
Oh my God, dude. This bitch is out of
She
her
was in the bath.
mind, dude. This is crazy.
She was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So she was sending nudes to this guy.
So what's the question here?
And I like call her on the phone and I'm like, you got to get back to the house right fucking now. Like put your fucking espresso down, you bitch, and come back home.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you need to pack up your shit and leave basically.
Yeah.
So she comes back. She like seems all like upset that I look through her laptop and shit.
It's called manipulation, buddy.
I was basically like, you just need to pack up your shit and leave. So she packs up her shit and goes. And then her mother, so my ex-mother-in-law, then called me and is like, I can't believe you're kicking my daughter out of the house. Like, you didn't even give her any notice or anything.
Fuck her.
And I had said to her when she was packing up, like, tell your parents, who I actually love, like why I'm doing this in such like a hasty manner.
Right.
And she was like, yeah, like I'll tell them. She obviously didn't fucking tell them. So the mom calls me, is upset, and I say to her, like, listen, you need to ask your daughter what actually happened, because you know I'm not this type of guy and wouldn't just do this for no reason. And then I get off the phone with her. I didn't divulge anything, but I was basically like, you just need to talk to your daughter about this, and kind of like implied what was going on.
Yeah.
And my ex-wife calls me and she's like, you're slut shaming me. Blah,
Oh
blah,
my
blah.
God.
Like, I was with you because I
Slut
thought you weren't
shaming your wife.
but you're just like every other dude. But
oh my God, dude.
Yeah, it's
this is
so
brutal.
Anyway, long story short, like this happened. So I guess a year and a half ago at this point, almost 2 years. 2 years ago. And I moved back in with my mother, who's like the sweetest, like born in Italy, like makes me espresso when I come home from work. The nicest woman, like, you know. So I'm back in this place where it's like, I kind of feel a little bit like stunted. Like I'm a 33-year-old guy and I'm like living in the New Jersey suburbs with my mom.
Yep.
But it's like, I don't know how to like get back out there and like trust again and like try to date, especially as like a trans guy in this area.
Sure.
So I don't know. So and you guys have helped me a lot, like just listening to the podcast and shit, and like listening to it while I'm like going to work and stuff. And so
while you're fucking tossing dough up in the air, while you're getting you're stirring up a big pot of marinara.
I'm actually a lawyer, believe me.
Every other part of your life really is the most traditional fucking Italian. Move back in with your mom.
yeah. That's the only thing I'm missing is my pizzeria.
Yeah. So, dude. So, like, first of all, it's obviously gonna be hard to trust again, right? For sure. But also, I think the big lesson here is like as hard, the negative of this is that, right? That it will take you a little bit to trust, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the positive is that you now know that you have to set real boundaries and you cannot let shit that is going to upset you slide, because you don't want to end up with the kind of person like you clearly were too understanding, and you clearly let shit that you weren't okay with slide in that last relationship, because what you should have done, I think it's very clear, is that after you got married and after this person, I'm assuming, got some financial security, you were paying for stuff, you were whatever.
Yeah.
After she had secured that, she drops this basically like, hey, I want to cheat on you, but by telling you, and it's fine because it's my sexuality, and you should get that. You're fucking trans. You understand how which is ridiculous. She took advantage of both your nature as a nice person and like insecurity about your identity, which is insanely fucked up for anyone to do, let alone your spouse, right? Somebody who kind of took advantage of you in like these fundamental ways. And I think what this teaches you is like, when at the first sign of this kind of trouble, you have to be out of there, because I think unfortunately, psychologically, we are drawn to the same types of people that are bad for us. And you just now have the tools, and you've been hurt so much that you know it's worth standing up for yourself. So is it going to be easy to get out there? No. Is it, will you have the same obstacles dating that you did before? Yes. But I think the silver lining is you've been hurt in a way that lets you know, I have to fucking stand up for that I'm not going through that shit again, right? That's the important thing. You can't be the kind of guy who just lets this shit happen to them over and over again, right? And, we're saying that again. I'm saying that as somebody who I learned that lesson the hard way too, right? Where it's like, I was in some, early on, I would like sort of get taken advantage of. I would let shit slide that I wasn't okay with. Now, maybe I've overcorrected too much, and there's a danger in that too, right? Like now, I probably will I just disappear the second there's any kind of obstacle, which is an issue in and of itself. But I don't think you're there. I think like you need to just get out there,
Yeah,
understand that, like,
I'm
yes,
tired.
shit might be a little hard, that shit takes a little time, but, you know, you have to just slowly crawl out of, like, the understandable
like it
hole that
last
you're in,
night,
right?
you know?
And you're doing well. You know, you're a fucking lawyer. You have a job, whatever. Like, you just have to build up your life again. And, like, dating is just one part of that.
Good
right?
games last night.
And if
Yeah,
you know,
boy,
if you don't
yeah.
like where you're living, fucking maybe dating isn't the priority. Maybe saving up some cash and moving to a city where it's, you know, you'll feel more comfortable is step one, right? Maybe you don't have to get right to fucking the apps. Maybe it's like, let's fucking get an apartment somewhere that I want to be, somewhere where it's easier for me to date. Maybe that's step one, right? But eventually you just have to, that's when you get back there, you just have to take, you can't let this have been a complete loss because it is
Give
very
me
valuable.
the
When you
farming
get
pet, bro.
when something this
Give me a
fucked up
pet.
happens to you, it's like
Come on.
you
Scrum, you
learn
got
from it and you
two.
don't let yourself
Give me
get back in
one.
that place again. And I think you're capable of doing that, you know?
Fuck this
You
game,
just
bro.
can't let a hot woman do whatever the fuck she wants, which is hard. If she's hot
It's
enough,
really
it's
hard.
hard not to just let her do whatever she wants. I get that.
He was really hot, had a fat ass. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's tough, but you
yeah.
paid the price. You're back in Bayonne as we speak. You know what I mean?
Oh god, it's fucking tough.
Yeah.
No, it's tough. Yeah. I mean, and yeah, like you said, like living in the suburbs and dating, it's
tough.
just, yeah, I don't even know how to like go about that. It's a nightmare. But I also don't like love living in cities. Like it's not my
Well, listen,
vibe. So
it might, you know, I'm not saying you got to move to New York, but I'm saying like just somewhere you're comfortable as it could be a different suburb or it could be a smaller town. It's just like you just have to find a place where you feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, because to me, sometimes that's so much. People obsess over dating, but it's like, are you even in the place where you want to date right now? Like, it seems like your shit's a little fucked up. You gotta fucking, I think you know, you have to figure out parts of your life, particularly coming out of like a fucked up divorce, where you're like, all right, I'm over that. I have a stable sort of like, I like where I live. I like my job. Everything's going pretty good. It's gonna be a little harder for me to date this time around.
How the fuck are you a lawyer and you don't have a house? That just tells me this person's a shit fucking lawyer, or they're lying.
I have the baggage of the last shit that happened to me. So
Well,
like,
that person's probably a secretary for a lawyer.
is everything else kind of set up nicely? And if that's the case, I think it'll be a lot easier for you, because then all you're worried about is, am I actually connecting with this person? You know, am I really making an effort? You know, to do this shit the right way. You're not worried about like, oh, I gotta fucking make sure mom's snoozing before we sneak in through the fucking basement entrance to get some pussy. You know what I mean?
She makes such good eggplant parm though. It's hard
Yeah, that is gonna be tough. That is gonna be tough.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, I do feel like so many parts of my life are really good. Like I have a really good job. I make good money.
Downloading
Like, I actually do
Battlefield?
like
Fuck,
where
I
I
forgot
live,
about
even
that,
though
bro.
it's hard to meet people my age. But
I'm not gonna play it
and then
today,
I
but I'll
see my
play it
fucking
during the week with
cisgender
you.
brother who just like has it so easy. He like married this Italian woman, you know, at a young age, and they have like 3 kids together,
Yeah.
and it's just like. And then I'm just like the black sheep Tran of the family.
Yeah.
Black Tran of the family.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, your mom's still feeding you eggplant. As far as Italians from Jersey go, it sounds like you got a pretty good draw.
No, I did. Yeah,
but I will
my family's
say,
really supportive. Yeah.
I will say, like, yeah, it's fucking annoying. Like, I get that too, where it's like, you know, my brother, I'm not the black sheep of my family, but I get feeling envious when people have figured out how to be in happy relationships, right? Like that's my hang up too. I look, you know, it's like my brothers are in great, you know, they're married. My little brother had a kid, like everything's going good.
Nothing.
And so it's like, you know, even like for me, other segments of my life are definitely going better, but like, you know, I think that's a fundamental thing to really want to be able to figure this part out of your life. So, dude, it sounds like you got most of it figured out, right?
Yeah.
And even if you like, look, even if you like where you live, fuck it, go get a fucking apartment so you don't live with your mom. Like, even that could be, it could be as simple as that. But I think that's really the final piece, and then everything else is going good. And then look, unfortunately, we all have our insecurities. You have to just get over your insecurities, and the only way to do that is to, like, it's almost, you got to do exposure therapy and not let somebody fucking treat you bad just because they're hot and you don't feel like you're worthy, you know? And the only way you get over that is by actually doing it.
Yeah.
I like this call as a postscript to the last call. It just kind of proves my point. Basically, the last caller, like, you know, we concluded that him and his wife just agreed they didn't want kids, and then he got a vasectomy, and then a few months later she said, like, she did want kids after all. So we said, like, you know, he's at a fork in the road where he'll either have a kid he didn't expect or he'll end up divorced because
Right.
she wants kids.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, you're in a way, you're like if someone walking down the divorced path, and all things considered, it could be a lot worse
No,
for you.
truly, you ended up fine, and it is, you should have gotten divorced. Like, you should have been out of that relationship sooner is the takeaway. So you are better off. Now it's just get out there, don't let the same shit happen to you, and that's pretty much it. But you're actually doing pretty good, and you should be, you know, happy about that. You should be proud of yourself for that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, good luck, brother. Let us know how it goes, man. Give us an update. You know, maybe when you got a couple. You know, maybe in a year or so. Give us the update when you got your own spot. You're dating another woman with BPD. You're like, it's not that bad. She's only.
How did you know?
How did I know?
She did
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man. This ain't my first rodeo.
Why is it always the hot ones with fat asses?
Yeah.
I should bang out those. I should just get 80 fucking agility, bro. What a nice guy. What a nice guy. Like, I actually sat there and told me something useful. Reverse trap. What a nice dude. Look you up. Sick account, bro. What an actual... This guy grinded at 99, didn't he? Yeah. 99 woodcutting, 99 fire making. What? 89 hunter. That kid's a fucking animal, dude. Jesus. Oh, look at that. Another crime documentary? Fuck.
At 1 a.m. on a November night in
God
2016,
damn,
a family in Loxahatchee, Florida
35 minutes?
awoke to a real-life nightmare. A horrific scene, screams to call 911, and a young man dying in his bedroom. From the house emerged 3 survivors, a distraught mother, her boyfriend, and the best
lover,
friend.
Or the
But
best friend.
it
I
was
remember
a
this
4th
case.
person, they claimed, who had made their
It was
way
his girlfriend,
inside the
yeah.
locked house in the middle of the night, committed the murder, and escaped. Hi there, I'm Kevin, and welcome to Just Thought Lounge. Today's case takes some unexpected turns. It's full of disputed evidence, shocking statements, and false allegations. In the end, the truth is unsettling, but undeniable. Let's take a look.
Bro, I used to watch this motherfucker before he had gray hair. It's crazy to me. You getting old, man.
At just before 1 a.m. on November 16, 2016, an emergency call was placed from a home on Glasgow Drive in Loxahatchee, Florida. The caller, 56-year-old Nicola Berry, was frantic. She had awoken to a chaotic scene and found her son, 21-year-old James, injured in his bedroom. When deputies arrived, they found 3 adults in the home with James. His mother, Nicola, who had placed the call to 911, her live-in boyfriend, Guy Hand, as well as James's best
Mr.
friend, Jeff
Hand.
Jarzbakowski, who was just staying the night. Inside the house, responders found James on his bed. Guy was diligently performing CPR when EMTs rushed in. They transferred him to the floor and continued life-saving efforts. Unfortunately, it was too late. 21-year-old James Berry was declared dead at the scene. He had suffered multiple stab wounds, including fatal injuries to his chest. Nicola, Guy, and Jeff were escorted from the house to the roadside, where a neighbor met them to provide
Bro, I'm
comfort.
hungry, man. Damn.
Both Guy and Jeff carried signs of the
Farmingale
brutal
dead?
attack,
Fuck, dude.
stains on their hands, arms, and elsewhere. Both had been attempting to perform life-saving measures on James before EMTs arrived. In the house, responders found a carving knife with a white handle and a 10-inch curved blade. It was bloodied and sitting on the kitchen counter. Moving through the kitchen and down the hallway towards the bedrooms, a trail led to where James was found by emergency responders. As they waited for detectives to arrive on scene, the group outside began to speculate and piece together what they believed happened only moments earlier. In spite of the shock and confusion of the night's events, a consensus began to emerge almost immediately. Someone else must have entered the house while they slept, and that someone had to have been James's 19-year-old girlfriend, Melanie Eam. James had been messaging with Melanie earlier that night, Jeff said, and there had been an argument. According to Jeff, James had been trying to break things off. Sometime around 8 or 8:30, Melanie had turned up at the house.
Bro, these people that like just sitting there rotting away in jail, I often wonder like what the fuck they do on a daily basis, dude. Like, how the fuck do you not just sit there and think about what you did on a like daily basis, bro? How do you not just sit there and be like, fuck, man, I'm in here because I just killed some motherfucker, like every day, reliving that fucking stab, you know?
Uninvited. Though she left at that time, she must have returned.
And then you saw her out there, and you texted her telling her to go away. She saw your car, and she pulled in here, and she backed up, and she went that way. She didn't get out of the car, unless someone was driving her. How does she know how to get through the unlocked door when there is no key?
Here, talk to Jeff.
2 nights ago, she came in over here again, and then James heard and thought someone was trying to break in, and then he saw her when he looked out the window, and then he texted her saying, "Go away or we're done. We're over. Go away. This is disrespectful."
So why didn't he tell me that?
He just told me today, like right before I fell asleep.
Tell me that. Jesus.
God.
I have a psycho living in expectation.
She's always been fucking psycho. Always.
She killed him. She. Because this lady.
Do y'all want her address?
We have detectives coming out. They'll talk to you when they get here, okay?
Guy reported that he locked all of the doors to the house every night. If James had already told Melanie to leave once, it's unlikely he let her in later. So, how did Melanie get inside? There was no sign of forced entry to the home. The front door was locked. So was a side door connecting to the patio. A back door, however, sat open. No one could deduce how Melanie would have been able to unlock that door initially to enter the house. Guy speculated that perhaps she had stolen a key, or alternatively, she had broken in through the garage.
And if she stole a key, she would know if she took a key off the key ring. She wouldn't have time to put that key back on the key ring, would she? Is she that fucking smart? You know what? That would actually make perfect sense. Because I remember waking up. I'm not sure what time it was, but it was probably like 11 or 12.
So he must have come out to meet her, and she has a knife ready.
Yeah, she come in the front door.
Yeah, that's why the front door
that
is
actually
open.
makes perfect sense.
It appeared that the
Like,
attack
these fuckers already solved their crime. Isn't that crazy?
began in the kitchen and led into the bedroom. The presumed murder weapon, the carving knife, likely carried back into the kitchen and left behind. Investigators rapidly determined that the knife had been taken from inside the house. It was one from Guy's collection. A butcher by trade, he owned several larger blades that were kept in the home. Indeed, Guy had used this very knife only hours earlier to carve their roast for dinner. Its usual place was the second drawer down in the kitchen, next to the stove.
And you said those knives were hidden, right?
Yeah.
No, they're in the second drawer by the refrigerator. So that's very specific. So she knows where my knives are. I keep two knives in there, a 8-inch one and then a 12-inch one. And she knows that house better than anyone.
Outside, near to the open back door on the patio table, investigators spotted a cell phone in a pink case. Near to the phone, there were drops of a blood-like substance. Later, tests would confirm these small stains were blood, and that cell phone was Melanie Eam's. James Barry and Melanie Eam had been high school sweethearts. They had started their relationship as friends, belonging to the same social circle at school. They shared a love of gaming and spent many hours playing together. After some time, James eventually worked up the confidence to ask Melanie on a date. From there, their romance moved quickly. The two were inseparable. James's older sister, Alexandra, reported that the family was initially thrilled for James and embraced Melanie. A shy and generally quiet young girl, she enjoyed baking at their house and cooking special meals for James and the family to share. Following his parents' divorce when he was a child, James lived with his mother and eventually her boyfriend, Guy, as well. In the years before his death, Melanie would spend major holidays with James's family at the house in Loxahatchee. When he graduated from high school, James went on to study at Palm Beach College. This move reportedly prompted Melanie to do the same. Though she was younger than him, she was able to leave school, obtain her GED, and then follow her boyfriend into the same program.
It's fucked.
After 2 years together, the couple were as close as ever. Perhaps too close. Their relationship had descended into an on-again, off-again roller coaster of highs and lows. Always together, and then breaking up. Messages exchanged between them in the hours before the murder showed James trying to distance himself once again. In fact, he wanted to break up. This time, it seems, he meant to stick to it. While he played games with Jeff at home, he was also active on a gaming app where he wrote to Melanie. It might be better for us to split and just focus on ourselves rather than worrying about each other constantly. Melanie had been reportedly unreasonably jealous over one of James's ex-girlfriends. That night, he wrote, "But honestly, are you and me really happy? I'm not going back to my ex. Don't worry about that at all. It's something we need to look at and accept. We're not happy." James's honest
I'll be right back, gentlemen. I'm gonna go look for something to snack on. No. Rocky, my guy. up, Bronx?
Reflection on the state of their relationship was met with denial from Melanie. I thought you are happy with me before the
Mr.
past
Steak
few
Man?
days, she wrote. Her confusion may have stemmed from a previous conversation they had in person, because James responded, Melanie, I type my feelings better than explaining them in real life. I'm not happy at all anymore. Thanks for leaving me through a league chat, she wrote. Though the messages carried a sense of finality, investigators believed that Melanie was not willing to accept the breakup and leave things as they stood. James may not have wanted to discuss his feelings in person, but his ex-girlfriend certainly did. 3 hours after she sent that last message, past midnight on the 16th, her car was spotted parked in front of James's house on Glasgow Drive. While law enforcement assessed the scene, they also sought out Melanie Eam. She was not located at the home she shared with her parents. They expressed surprise that the police were looking for her at all. There was no way she could have been involved, they said. Also, they expressed concern because they had no idea where she was.
Froze, you know, my body just numb. And we couldn't sleep, we cannot eat. We just like a dream. I mean, like you wake up and say, it cannot happen.
Declaring her only a person of interest in her ex-boyfriend's murder, law enforcement issued a public plea for assistance in locating Melanie. Meanwhile, they checked traffic cameras for captures of her license plate, and they received a few hits. It seems that Melanie had driven through the night to Maryland. Learning that Melanie had an uncle and cousins in the state, officers there were dispatched to check for her vehicle near to her relative's address. They found it.
Oh shit, it's here. I see it. Is it? Hold on. Yes, it's here. Come here. Hold on. Call Sarge now. Let me call her.
Maryland officers were not involved in the homicide investigation. Their instructions were to locate, verify, and take possession of the Toyota Corolla, ostensibly due to unpaid tolls. Their next step was to confirm that Melanie Eam was inside the house and not at risk of harm or of leaving.
We're just concerned about her. We gotta call.
All right, I'm sitting in Sherwood for unrelated reasons. So
unfortunately,
the one of the units wants to break off, I can serve as a backup if needed.
Like they have to take the tag or something like that, so we're gonna tow the vehicle.
I guess you're curious about what's going on.
What is the? I mean, what is?
No, so right now all it is like I said, we got a call to check the welfare of guests of is Melanie. Melanie's here, so they just said, hey, you know, some stuff happened. Pretty much, family got concerned. They just wanted us to come and make sure she's fine, like in the right state of mind and everything like that. So, is it cool if she comes out and talks to us real briefly? Like I said, we just need to make sure everything is fine with her emotionally.
I don't know if we're gonna talk, but maybe you can see her. Like, I'll just let her come right here.
I mean, is it cool if we go in? Like I said, it's just to make sure physically she's fine is all. That's it. Or if she doesn't want us to come in, if she comes to come out.
I'll just have her come to the door.
Okay, that works. Hey, do what you got to do, Monk. I appreciate it.
Melanie did not appear surprised to exit the house and encounter the officers. She seemed to know why they were there. The officers, however, were clearly not as well informed.
Hi, Melanie.
We got called to make sure that you're okay. We got some people concerned about you in this work or something. So,
400, I'm driving. I'm gonna head that way till I hear further.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
We just made a check.
So we'll come back and knock on your door, Monk, and give you all the information. You have any questions for us, Melanie?
I'm just wondering, when should I go in for the questioning?
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, we haven't been told anything. Like I said, they just wanted us to talk to you about, make sure physically and emotionally you were fine is all. Okay? You have any other questions for us? What's going on, Melanie?
I don't know, I'm just scared.
Okay. What are you scared about?
I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, like I said, we'll be right back. If you have any further questions for us, like I said, we'll be back to knock on the door. If anything comes up in between that time, please don't hesitate to ask us, or let us know what's going on. Okay?
Thank you.
Detective Oliver of Palm Beach County traveled to Maryland to meet with Melanie. Her cousin allowed him and a colleague into the home. At that time, he pressed record on his cell phone. The detective's stated intention was not to arrest the teenager, only to take her statement. For this reason, she was not read her Miranda rights.
Would I be provided with the lawyer and stuff if I say anything?
Are you going to be? We're not going to provide you with one. You're just going to come to the station and talk to me. We're just going to talk to you. We're going to bring you right back. You're not under arrest.
Detective Oliver offered to speak with Melanie at the kitchen table in her uncle's home. Two of her cousins were present.
Basically, everything shows that you just drove over there with the intention of killing James, which is really bad. But if it's something like heat of that moment, passion, you were trying to defend yourself, this is your opportunity, because you're not going to get another opportunity, most likely. This is your opportunity right now.
With the family dog whimpering in the background, Melanie explained that she went over to James's house that night just to speak with him. He was breaking up with her, but she didn't believe that he no
Yo, chat,
longer
what's up,
loved
everybody?
And then on the chat, you said you wanted to speak in person.
Okay.
So I went over there, and I wanted to speak with him.
What put you over the edge, you think? Just because he broke your heart, I'm guessing.
I felt like it was going to stop.
When you used the knife
someone
on him,
redeemed it
was
too.
your intention just to kind of scare him? Or you didn't want to kill him, did you? Just tell me that you didn't want to kill him.
No, I didn't mean to. When I went off, I thought he would be okay.
She told Detective Oliver that she had taken the knife from the drawer in the kitchen. She knew where all the cutlery and other cooking utensils were kept. Before she ran from the house, she tossed the knife away somewhere in the room. More than once, Melanie indicated that she had not realized how severely James had been injured. She thought he'd be okay and didn't think it was that much. Though she knew enough to run, she drove to Maryland, stopping only at a Walmart on the way to purchase a new cell phone. She also knew not to return to the scene to collect the one she had left there. Melanie was eventually extradited to Florida, where she was held without bond, awaiting trial. She faced charges of manslaughter and second-degree murder. She pleaded not guilty.
It was a horrific crime, but right now we're going forward in terms of the justice part of the equation. And I'm glad that Melanie is in jail without...
This guy sounds like fucking Squidward, man. Justice part of the equation.
bond at this stage of the game so we can move forward.
Melanie's attorney, Bruce Lear, promptly filed a motion to have her recorded confession removed from the evidence at trial. Lear argued that common sense proved that the confession offered by Melanie to Detective Oliver was based upon his words and not hers. She had been guided to confess by the predetermined conclusions the detective had made about the case, that she was a rejected girlfriend who stabbed James to death in an angry rage.
I'm saying that my client gave an alleged confession in violation of her constitutional rights and therefore should be suppressed.
The state countered that no rights were read because Melanie was not under arrest. She was told multiple times that this was the case, and at no time did anyone in the house ask the detectives to leave. At the end of the interview, Detective Oliver asked if Melanie had been comfortable with the conversation. She responded positively.
Did you feel like uncomfortable talking to me?
No, actually, it was very comfortable.
Okay.
Oh, more comfortable than I expected.
Okay. Yeah, you know, we try not to disrespect. We try to make it as comfortable as possible. And
Attempts to have the confession suppressed failed. Melanie Eom stood trial in the autumn of 2018. Her defense team came out swinging with a new theory of the crime. From the moment responders arrived on scene, the defense said the finger was pointed at Melanie. This was an unusual and flawed approach to the investigation, considering three adults were found with the victim in a house where all the doors had been locked before 10 p.m. Lear accused Nicola Berry's boyfriend, Guy Hand, of committing the murder, then staging the cell phone to frame his client, and otherwise covering up evidence. He argued that Melanie had been in the house at the time of the murder. The shirt she had been wearing that night tested positive for James's blood on the cuff of the right sleeve. Blood was similarly found on the gear shift of her Corolla, a car that was spotted parked out front of the house that night. This evidence was explained by her presence there as a witness. Indeed, they argued that she had been in the room and watched as Guy attacked James. Then she ran from the scene in fear of what she had just witnessed.
The evidence will show that Guy Hand, for some reason, took a Valium that night before he went to bed. It will show that he picked up the bloody knife, well aware, and he'll admit he was aware that that knife had been used to kill this young man. He picks it up and he takes it to the kitchen and leaves it next to the sink. That's as far as he got at that point with it. Destroyed the evidence. His background? He was a butcher. And of everyone who was in the house at that time.
See, what this guy didn't do very well is like the other video that I watched. He didn't outline the story. Like, the kid that got murdered was also like fighting with the dad. You know what I mean? They had a fight that evening. Like, yeah. 1:99. Let's watch this. Fuck it. I'm not here for the animations, my guy.
With the runecrafting skill, you unlock some of the best skilling moneymakers in the game. Like, with 77 runecrafting at the True Blood Altar, you can get close to 2 mil profit per hour. Then at 95 runecrafting, Wrath runes currently bring in 2.5 mil an hour. Money aside, runecrafting can be used to passively train other skills. You gain around 1 million mining and 1 million crafting XP on your journey to 99 runecrafting on Zaya, or you could gain about 1.5 mil mining XP from the Dayalt Essence to reach 99. There's also a lot of magic XP gained from teleporting with certain methods. Another reason to train runecrafting is to complete quests, and there are currently 7 different quests with a runecrafting level requirement, with the highest being Desert Treasure 2. This means you need level 60 runecrafting to get the quest cape, and you need 91 runecrafting for the achievement diary cape. For a regular player, getting to 99 runecrafting can take hundreds of hours, but you won't need anywhere near that long to unlock the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Raid's latest kick score my wisely. Once you're these allow you to carry getting the QR code on the screen. With my starter packs, you get a massive head start in Raid, so there's no better time to try it out. Thanks to Raid for sponsoring this video. When training runecrafting, there's a range of important unlocks that will greatly benefit your leveling. The first unlock is essence pouches, where these allow you to carry more essence per inventory, and they can be obtained in two different ways. One way to get them is by defeating monsters in the Abyss, and this requires the Rune Mysteries quest and the Enter the Abyss mini quest. I'd suggest fighting abyssal leeches in the area near the ALR fairy ring, and these leeches have a 1 in 42 chance of dropping a pouch, dropped in order from smallest to largest. The other way to obtain essence pouches is by completing the Guardians of the Rift minigame, where you get them as a reward. When using an essence pouch, it degrades after some usage. To repair the pouches, you need to talk to the Dark Mage, located in the center of the Abyss. But with Lunar Diplomacy and 67 magic, you can cast the NPC Contact spell, which allows you to speak to the Dark Mage from anywhere to repair your pouches. There's a range of other useful unlocks from the Guardians of the Rift minigame, and in order to access Guardians, you do need to complete the Temple of the Eye quest. With that, you can get the Raiments of the Eye set, and wearing the entire robe set gives you 60% more runes when runecrafting, essentially boosting your GP per hour by 60%. From Guardians, you can also get the Abyssal Needle, which is used to make the Colossal Pouch, and this no longer has an 85 runecrafting requirement, and it now scales to your level. Level 25 runecrafters can get 8 extra essence, scaling up to 40 at level 85. At this level, it essentially combines all of the essence pouches plus holds an extra 10 essence, making it an essential unlock for most runecrafting methods. Another very important runecrafting unlock is the ability to use Dayalt Essence. This can be used to get 50% extra XP compared to regular Essence, although to access the Dayalt Mine, you do need to complete the Sins of the Father quest, and you also need 60 mining. As a whole, using Dayalt Essence means less clicks for 99 runecrafting, since mining Dayalt is very AFK with 60-second AFK intervals, but it does take slightly longer to reach 99 runecrafting when using Dayalt, but not much longer, although the main difference is the AFK aspect of it. With that, you can get very high runecrafting XP rates. Like when doing solo lavas with Dayalt, it's possible to get around 150k XP per hour. But the most efficient use of time is using Dayalt at the Urania altar, since it gives more XP per essence, where it's possible to get up to 115k XP per hour. The Dayalt Essence Mine is located underneath Darkmire, and here there are 3 rocks. Only one rock is active at a time, and you can tell from the aura that is coming off the rock. Mining that rock will give you Dayalt shards, which you then take to Norana, who converts the shards to essence and sends them to your bank. The final important unlock may just be the most important of them all, and that is quests that unlock new runes to runecraft. There's a range of quests, like Morning's End Part 2 is required for death runes, and the Sins of the Father is required to runecraft blood runes, but it's not required to make blood runes on Zaya. Alright, now I'm going to show you some example pathways to 99. Then I'll explain in depth how to do each method. Starting off, the fastest pathway to 99 with and without runners. Firstly, with runners, it's possible to reach 99 in 35 hours, but at a massive cost of 2.8 bill. The pathway involves making tiaras until level 23, then lava runes with runners to 90, and then aether runes with runners to 99. That's obviously very expensive. So the fastest pathway to 99 without runners is this. It's quite similar to the fastest with runners, except the XP rates are about a third of the rate. Also, aether runes aren't as fast as solo lavas, so you'll spend the entire time from 23 to 99 doing lava runes. Overall, 99 is going to take about 137 hours, and that's the fastest possible way to 99 runecrafting without paying runners. In total, the cost for 99 this way is about 1 mil, so much cheaper. So those were the two fastest pathways to 99, but here I have my recommended pathways to 99, with Guardians, Urania, and Zaya runecrafting. Guardians is going to take a minimum of 230 hours for 99, with a decent profit too, whereas Dayalt at the Urania altar takes about 150 hours of runecrafting and about 100 hours of mining Dayalt, for a total of 250 hours for 99. Or at 77, you unlock semi-AFK Zaya Blood runecrafting, which is going to take around 300 hours doing blood runes, then soul runes. And it also brings in the most profit out of these methods. It's also worth noting that there are some profitable pathways to 99 as well, including making True Bloods to 99, or Death, Aether, or Wrath runes. All of these methods will bring in over 100 mil profit on your journey to 99, and I'll go into more depth about each method shortly. Let's circle back and talk about some low-level runecrafting methods. And the best way to train from level 1 is by questing. Completing rune mysteries, then the Enter the Abyss mini quest gets you from level 1 to 9 runecrafting. Then you need level 10 to be able to do the Temple of the Eye quest. So I would recommend completing a quest that gives an XP lamp reward, and you use that XP lamp on runecrafting. So then once you're at 10, completing the Temple of the Eye will get you from 10 all the way to 27. And it also unlocks the Guardians of the Rift minigame. However, questing isn't actually the fastest way to level up from level 1. And the fastest way is making tiaras. Tiaras can bring in about 50k XP per hour, which is very fast for such a low level. From level 1, you can make air tiaras, which are most quickly made with a Ring of the Elements teleport. To make tiaras, you bring a regular silver tiara and a talisman to the runecrafting altar. Then you use the talisman on the altar to repeatedly create tiaras. The air, water, earth, and fire altars are all easily accessed with the Ring of the Elements teleports, and the ring can be bought off the Grand Exchange for about 500k. But once you reach level 2 runecrafting, you can also make mined tiaras, and on the Grand Exchange they sell mined altar teleport tablets, which takes you right next to the altar. So this is the fastest way to train from a low level, repeatedly making mined tiaras, although water, earth, and fire are still a decent option with the Elements ring. In terms of cost, you're going to spend 200 to 400k to get to level 23, which unlocks the next fastest method, which is lava runes. And that leads me onto the next section of this video, where I explain how to do the fastest methods in the game. And firstly, the absolute fastest, which is hiring runners, involves standing at the runecrafting altar with players trading you essence as fast as possible. Currently, it costs 10 to 15 mil per hour per runner, and to get the fastest XP rates in the game, you're looking at over 40 mil an hour with 4 runners. To train with lava and aether runes, you do need Magic Imbue to get these XP rates. Magic Imbue requires Lunar Diplomacy and level 82 magic. For lavas, you need a Steam Staff, Astral Runes, and Earth Runes. And at all times, you'll need to be wearing a binding necklace, which the runners will give you when yours runs out. I've personally used the Essence Running Discord server to find runners, and I'm not being paid to say that. It's a server I've tried and used, so I've linked it in the description. Then for lavas, you get ready with the runners at the fire altar, and it involves casting Magic Imbue, trading the runners for essence, and using the earth runes on the altar. It's strongly recommended to use the Essence Running RuneLight plugin, which includes a range of helpful features. For Aether runes, you meet at the Cosmic altar, and for these you need Aether Catalysts plus Soul Runes. And you do the same, where you trade essence from the runners, cast Magic Imbue, but this time you use the Soul Runes on the altar. It's best to use 4 or 5 runners for Aether Runes, otherwise you're better off going to Lavas. So those were the fastest ways to 99 rune crafting, but that was using runners, and it costs a lot of money. So the fastest without runners is traditionally rune crafting combination runes. In terms of the fastest solo rune crafting methods, it's lava runes from 23 to 99. Your XP rates scale from about 35k all the way up to nearly 100k per hour, and that's with regular essence. With day ult, you earn 50k to 150k per hour during the time that you're rune crafting, but do keep in mind that it takes time to gather enough day ult for an hour of rune crafting. To get the max XP rates with this method, it really requires the larger pouches or the colossal pouch. Then the method involves using the Ring of the Elements teleport to the fire altar. Then you use Magic Imbue with a binding necklace to create lava runes. There's a range of combination runes similar to lava runes which provide very high rune crafting XP rates, including Mud, Smoke, Steam, Mist, and Aether runes. Mud and Smoke runes both cap out at about 84k XP per hour, and they bring in about 500k in profit as well. Steam and Mist runes are a bit faster in terms of XP, and also provide even higher profit rates, where you can make 1.5 mil an hour with Mist runes. Aether rune crafting nets a bit less XP, but also is very, very profitable. So those were the solo essence runs. But there's one more method I haven't explained that fits into the fastest section, and that is making eternal boots. This requires 60 rune crafting and 60 magic, and the entire method involves just using eternal crystals on infinity boots. For every eternal boots that you make, you get 200 rune crafting XP, but it can be a massive loss in GP depending on the Grand Exchange. As a whole, I don't recommend this method at all, and it's also very hard to maneuver since the GE buy limits don't favor it, but it is possible to get 350k rune crafting XP per hour this way. Now let's move into the next section, which is the recommended training methods to 99. And in this section, I'll talk about Guardians of the Rift, the Irania Altar, and Zaya runecrafting. Firstly, Guardians, and you can first partake in the minigame by completing the Temple of the Eye quest, which you'll have a minimum of 27 runecrafting once completing it. Having a high agility level can boost your overall output at Goda, or Guardians of the Rift, where having level 56 agility allows you to access the main starting rock to the east. Your mining level does not affect how fast you mine at Goda, but mining boosters like Varrock Armor or the Celestial Ring do work here. In summary, Goda is a non-combat runecrafting minigame where you help the Great Guardian seal an abyssal rift. Abyssal creatures come out of the rift and attack the Guardian, but by providing Guardian stones and shielding the Guardian, you can successfully close the rift. The main steps of the minigame involve firstly mining Guardian fragments, then you chisel those fragments into essence, then you craft the runes at the altars provided. You get elemental points for making the elemental runes and catalytic points for catalytic runes. To roll for a reward within the minigame, you need 1 elemental and 1 catalytic reward point per roll. Throughout the minigame, yellow portals will appear where you can enter them to mine essence. And to know when those portals are coming, plus for a range of other quality of life improvements, you should install the Guardians of the Rift Runelight plugin. In terms of items required, all you really need is a pickaxe, but it does help to have essence pouches along with a rune pouch with runes for NPC contact. You can optionally bring binding necklaces and runes to make combination runes for more XP and points. And if you have an abyssal lantern, you should use U-logs for the point boosting effect. You can expect decent XP rates at Guardians, ranging from 20 to 70k per hour. At the same time, you get up to 6k crafting and 3k mining XP per hour too. So here's a run through of the minigame. I start by taking 10 uncharged cells from the table near the entrance. Then I take a weak cell from the table and create a guardian at the piles. Then you can also grab another weak cell and go create a barrier around the guardian. Then I make my way to the eastern side and start mining the large guardian remains. And if you don't have the agility level to reach this, you should mine the smaller remains closer to the entrance. So I mine until I have around 150 guardian fragments. Then make my way to the workbench. I chisel a full inventory of essence and fill my pouches while doing that. Then I run to an available altar shown by the glowing effect and click on it to enter. You ideally should choose the runecrafting altar that gives the most powerful cells, and these include fire, death, or blood for the overcharged cells, and nature, earth, or law for the strong cells. Then I craft the runes and remember to empty my rune pouches. Then I click the Great Guardian in the middle to deposit my guardian stones, and I use a charged cell on a barrier. At that time, a yellow portal appeared, so I go in and mine the essence, filling my pouches as well. Then I run to the next altar and craft more runes. Then I return and hand in my guardian stones and repair the barrier. And if you're only using 1 or 2 essence pouches, you do have time to do another inventory of essence before the next portal appears. So the game continues, doing 1 or 2 inventories of chiseled essence, and then 1 inventory from the yellow portal until the game ends. The next recommended training method I'm going to cover is the Urania Altar, or also known as ZMI. This actually has no requirements, but it is recommended to have a decent defense level, and also having access to the Lunar Spellbook helps dramatically. And if you've completed the Kingdom Divided quest and have 96 magic, this method becomes a lot better with Spellbook swap into the Vile Vigor spell. In terms of XP rates, the Urania Altar is similar to Guardians of the Rift, with XP rates ranging from 20 to over 70k per hour. But you can also use Dayalt Essence at Urania, which boosts your overall XP rate when runecrafting. From level 60 runecrafting all the way to 99, you'll need about 570,000 Dayalt Essence, which will take a bit over 100 hours to mine. In terms of
definitely, bro. Totally. You totally should. Alright, boys, I'm gonna stop streaming. I'll be on later. Peace out.